Broadcasting live from somewhere in the Shadow Realm, this is YuGiOh Deck Talk. Here's your host, Doug Dimmaduel.
Welcome to another episode of YuGiOh Deck Talk. Today, we're going to take a look at some level 1 monsters that may fit into just about any deck. Consider these to be some utility cards when you're putting together your next big deck. If you have any recommendations or personal favorites that I did not mention in today's podcast, leave a comment on the YuGiOh Deck Talk Facebook page to voice your opinion. So without further ado, let's get started with some of our most valuable level 1 monsters. Effect Veiler is a monster that has a quick effect that you may use during your opponent's main phase. Discard Effect Veiler from your hand to the graveyard to target one of your opponent's face-up effect monsters. That monster's effect is negated until the end of the turn. Let's face it, tons of Duelist game plans revolve around having strong monsters with powerful effects. In an environment where Duelists stack their decks with monsters containing great effects, having an Effect Veiler or two in your deck may be a helpful tool for you to mitigate some of those potential effects that could really impact the course of the game. Battle Fader is a level 1 monster that has the ability to disrupt your opponent's battle phase. When your opponent declares a direct attack, you can special summon Battle Fader, then end the battle phase. After the battle phase, you must then banish this card. To me, it reminds me of the monster version of Negate Attack, the trap card, especially the part where the battle phase is forced to end. If your opponent thinks they're going to start chipping away at your life points, well, think again, especially with this monster in your hand. Excellent to have. Now, moving on to monsters with less focus on their effects and more on their numbers. Let's change the focus here to these hard number monsters. Flamvell Guard is a normal monster and also a tuner for a potential synchro summon. But even though it's a level 1 monster, it has a defense of a whopping 2,000. Another level 1 monster with an unusually high defense of 2,100 is Charcoal and Pachi. The big difference with Charcoal and Pachi is that it is just a normal monster and not a tuner like Flamvell Guard. So, making that decision based off of what your deck needs, whether it needs another tuner or not, either one of these monsters would be a great fit. So, if you're looking for a level 1 monster that can hold its own in battle, just take a look into either one of these for your deck. Now, Magician of Faith is an excellent level 1 monster to have if you're looking to reclaim a spell card from your graveyard. When this card is flipped, you may take a spell card from your graveyard and put it in your hand. If your game plan revolves around a handful of important spell cards that you'd prefer to use more often than not, having a few Magician of Faith cards in your deck is a great way to recycle and reuse your spell cards. If you're an old school duelist like I am, you may recall a little monster named Kuriboh. This level 1 monster, made famous by Yugimoto himself, can be discarded during the battle damage calculation phase to bring your damage down to 0. This is a great card to frustrate your opponent when they think they're going to do some big damage to your life points. So there's a whole set of Kuriboh type monsters that are out there, including Relink Kuriboh, which allows you to draw 1 card when it's tributed. Also, may be removed from your graveyard in the place of a card that would be destroyed by battle. So, another multi-purpose tool. And I know there's a ton of others, but I'm still getting the hang of all these new cards. Consecrated Light is an outstanding monster if your goal is to stop a deck with the majority of dark monsters. This monster prevents either player from normal summoning or special summoning any dark monsters, nor are they allowed to attack. This card cannot take battle damage from a dark monster, nor can it be destroyed by a dark monster. This is a dark deck's nightmare. Enough said. Chaos Necromancer is a solid card for when you're late into a duel. It starts with an attack and defense of 0, but gains 300 attack power for each monster in your graveyard. For example, if you're getting late into your duel and you have 10 monsters in your graveyard, this monster ends up on an attack power of 3,000. This is a worthwhile monster to have in your arsenal if you're grinding it out in a very lengthy duel. So there's a whole string of archetype-specific level 1 monsters, too, that benefit specific sets of cards, but hopefully the level 1 monsters we took a look at today will be great additions to some of your upcoming deck builds. Next time, we'll be looking at more utility monsters that can fit into just about any deck. If there's something important that I missed today, or if you'd like to recommend some cards to be discussed in one of our upcoming episodes, just drop a comment on the YuGiOh Deck Talk Facebook page, and we'll go from there. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next time.
Join us on Facebook Go to facebook.com/YuGiOh Deck Talk. Tell us about the decks you want to see broken down and analyzed. Discuss strategy and new cards. Meet other duelists. It's all on the YuGiOh Deck Talk Facebook page. Like it today.